Welcome to Eating Elephants. It's your host Copeland here. This is the first episode. I just want to thank you in advance for all the support and for you tuning in and watching this episode. I just kind of wanted to start off by telling you a little bit about me. Uh, I started off as a producer. I produced for many years. I've produced for many artists. And when I say producer, track-based producer, I made beats. I made what you call instrumentals. I lived in studios in my early 20s, but I had an early background in sales. I've always been into sales, professionally and unprofessionally. And when I was young, I started off selling computers. I started off in tech. I've always been very tech savvy. I've always been very alert to what's going on in the tech industries. And, just through a leg up from a gentleman who's seen a little potential in me, I learned the art of sales. And, kind of through the art of sales, I learned how to talk to people, I guess. I met a lot of interesting people along the way. And one of my biggest goals of this podcast is to introduce you to a few of them. One thing for me in starting a podcast that I wouldn't say I was struggling with, but it was very much a dueling energy between doing rap music and doing pop production to doing potting was, growing up. And, we all grow up and realize that, the perception of what we do, how it affects others, how it affects yourself, the things you submit yourself to do, day in and day out, whether it's to make a living, whether it's for entertainment, or, whether it's just to plain old get forward in life. And, for me, one of the biggest things was, retiring from battle rap. In my first pod, that's gonna be, my start of this thing, man. I'm done with battle rap. Not just because I have a new adventure in doing content and doing podcasting. I'm still gonna release music, but you know, it's all about how things make you feel. It's all about the energy that you're putting out there. And, maybe that's corny to some, but you kind of get what you receive. You want to be the energy that you want to receive. And it was super important to have A Ward on here. If you don't know who A Ward is one of the top 25 battle rappers of all time. He typically identifies as a Christian battle rapper, but I kind of look at him as much more than that. I've known A Ward quite a while. I've watched him, grow from just local battles to being one of the highest viewed battlers on YouTube, being commonly mentioned by his peers. And, one thing I really respect about A Ward is that he's been able to keep his faith throughout this journey of battle rapping. If you know anything about battle rapping, your whole job is to poetically tear your opponent apart. I think in rap music, the alliteration, the rhyming, the all those things that you don't think about being technical aspects of being an MC are always on display in battle rap with the twist of, I won't say negativity, but, you're attacking your opponent. Your job as a battle rapper is to entertain the crowd with a person's shortcomings. And for me personally, I enjoy doing music. I enjoy how music makes me feel. I enjoy, using music as a time capsule to my past. Maybe being able to listen to music or maybe creating music about a time I never could go back to, right? That's huge. Especially for me, you get older, you realize some of those times are never coming back. And what you have is the music. What you have is your art. Your art is your alchemy. It's just used to change people. It's used to change yourself. But also in the same breath, as you expose other people to your art exposes you to yourself. And I think for a lot of artists, they don't, maybe admit or maybe they will admit to you that when you record music, you hear a side of yourself. And I think that was a big thing with battle rap for me was, kind of the negative place that battle rap kept me at personally. My brand of battle rap, in your face. We're going to talk about some stuff. We're going to talk about, the people you don't want to talk about. Maybe we're going to talk about a situation that you thought was off limits. And maybe I don't care. And I'm still going to talk about those things. But at some point for yourself, depending on what level of life you live in, you realize what kind of people does this sport make you encounter. You know, what are the ups? What are the downs? In battle rap, I've kind of had mixed reactions. I've met, some lifelong friends. I've met, some valuable assets through battle rap. And then also I've met some people that I'm just kind of like, maybe without battle rap, me and you never cross paths. And, in the first episode, and just in life, the first thing is always protecting your energy. And I think listening to yourself and staying true to your values. Oftentimes, the measure of a person, isn't how they walk around every day. It's the pressure. You hear everybody say, I'm pressure, because pressure makes people change. And everybody doesn't react to pressure the same. And, with that being said, enjoy a quick little interview with A. Ward. Today on Eating Elephants, I got a very special guest, the critically acclaimed battle rapper, poet, entrepreneur, overall a great guy. I got Mr. A. Ward here. How you doing today?
Blessed, man. Thank you for having me, man. Thank you so much, man. It's good to be here.
I appreciate you coming out, man. So, how's life been going for Mr. A. Ward?
Busy, bro. Busy, but the good kind of busy. So, staying books, traveling a lot. Obviously, I'm a husband. I have a full-time job still, not just an artist. So, I have to kind of juggle a lot of different things. But I'm blessed. I'm blessed to kind of be in a position right now to where I just continue. I'm able to continue to do what I love to do and to provide for my family. So
straight up. And when you say as an artist, you mean like as a battle rapper, right?
Yeah, so mostly as a battle rapper, but I just did a nationwide poetry tour that was 12 weeks long. So Poets in Autumn tour, we did like almost 26 cities, I think. So that was really, really dope. Big part of my September, October, November. And then I've battled 18 times this year. So I had 18 battles this year. So yeah, there was 26 performances on poetry, 18 performances on battle rap. What's that, 44? There's 52 weeks in a year. So every week.
A. Ward is on the road,
A. Ward is on the road. I'm in a city near you. But like I said, blessed, able to provide for my family, able to do what I do at a high level still. And just kind of keep it on. So.
Now, I feel you. Man, how does that affect your faith, though? I mean, on the road every day, you find a different church every city you're in, or how does that work?
Man, my faith, my accountability groups, my small groups, I have a lot of guys in a lot of group chats, I can watch them if I'm on the road. If I'm not able to be in church, I try to watch sermons from, City of Truth, back here in Kansas City, or I'll watch, some things from even Elevation, in North Carolina, some just different churches that I like to hear messages from. I watch them online. On their lives and different things like that. But, for the most part, like a lot of it is small groups, accountability groups, guys I'm traveling with on a poetry tour, they're all Christian. So, we're able to kind of get it in, dig in, have conversations, build each other up. And then, but it's not that easy though. So I don't want to make it seem like, oh yeah, everything's great. I mean, it is tough, man. When you get tired, you get drained, you're traveling all the time, you're worried about writing, you're worried about memorizing and stuff like that. And then you can kind of get empty. So it's definitely imperative that you lock back in with, your circle of people. So.
Yeah, no, I definitely get it, man. It can be trying. Anything that you do that you put in that effort in. So, I mean, you mentioned you like your faith, so you're a Christian, right?
Yes, I'm a Christian.
Would that be like a Methodist Christian, Baptist?
I'm really non-denominational. If I was to like maybe gravitate towards a specific denomination, it probably would be closer to Baptist, I guess. But I don't subscribe to a lot of that. But I'm more non-denominational. I went to a Bible college. That was Church of God Holiness. That was kind of similar to maybe getting close to like Nazarene, kind of strict, kind of traditional. But then like I worked in an inner city youth group where all we cared about was like loving people and loving God. It wasn't all like you have to do this and do this. Like very like in that strict realm. So I would definitely call myself more non-denominational, somebody who just kind of like loves the Lord, is called to love people, is called to, have faith and show that faith and be an example, with or without words to the public of what I believe, Jesus did for us, came, died for us, and, hopefully one day when we pass away, we'll see him again in heaven. So, yeah.
Right on. Let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're a rapper. I'm gonna ask you straight up.
Mm-hmm.
What is A Ward's hood? Where's A Ward from? When you was in the inner city working, what inner city was that? Give me some streets, some names, some locations.
Most of it was KCK, man. Juniper Garden, St. Margaret's, the Annex. We pull up in Gateway. A lot of it was KCK.
Argentine. Shout out to Argentine,
yep.
man. I know you was in Argentina.
Oh yeah, so pretty much from Meadowlark Lane and State all the way down to to 2nd Street, 1st Street. Spent a lot of time, basically every Wednesday and Thursday at Kensington Community Center. We would bus kids in. We would have church. We would have 200, 300, 400 kids from elementary to high school. That's really like the areas that I predominantly was at for about 8 to 10 years. Probably from 2007 to 2014, or so. It's about 7. Yeah. So and so that's predominantly where I was at. Where I grew up. I grew up in government housing. In Knoxville, Tennessee. So I grew up in Cedar Springs Apartments, the Pines. And a couple different other places that we bounced around to, and so that was definitely, my mom was basically a single parent, 5 kids, so and she didn't work, so we kind of stayed bouncing around from different apartments in Knoxville, and yeah, just kind of grew up within that, that same type of, free lunch, box lunch, summer
That's
programs.
What I was gonna ask you.
Summer programs, box lunch, little vouchers to get your shoes, like WIC. Food stand, like that was
that's the question I think we want to know. Yeah, which side of the bus was you already on the bus when the bus got to the hood, or was they picking up?
They were picking me up. You know what I mean? They were definitely picking me up.
Same here, man. I went to Ruskin High School, and the church used to come by all the time, pick us up, kind of show us a different life, let us play some ball, have a sleepover. Father Abraham had many sons.
Father Abraham.
Yeah. I grew up in that. I also grew up with quite a few people who practice Islam in my family. So I asked you the same. With Poets in Autumn, right? Because that was the name of the tour. Were there anybody that practiced Islam in that tour, or was there?
No. So the tour was specific to the Christian faith. But there are a lot of people in attendance that didn't subscribe to the Christian faith because poetry is kind of a dying art.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's like but you don't hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, I'm going to watch a poet." Normally you see poets if you're just down at an open mic spot in the 18th Divine or something like that.
Yeah.
So this tour is probably the most followed poetry tour in the nation. So people from all that just love poetry would definitely come and watch the tour. But for the most part, everybody that was on the tour subscribed to the Christian faith. All the poems weren't necessarily Christian poems, per se, but they did within the guidelines of Christianity. Nobody's up there like cussing, talking crazy, being disgusting.
I seen how y'all was dressed in the promo.
Yeah, they had me nice. Out. But, I've been to a few open mics where I had to go after some of them panty dropping poems. I walk up there like, I love Jesus.
Married man, when you marry, you gotta you
gotta chill.
Being married in entertainment is a cold thing. I haven't always been married, but once I got married, it's like it's time to go home. These certain things start happening, and you like, man, I know y'all not bad people, but I'm gonna holler at y'all.
And we all human. You know what I mean? So you just got to know how to put yourself in certain situations and how to get out of certain situations.
Straight up. And I was gonna bring up to go back to Islam. I think because one big thing is a lot of battle rappers are Muslims. It's very common. I think that makes you like one of the most loved Christians, and probably in the United States.
A lot of battle rappers are Christians too. The thing about it is a lot of people would claim a certain faith or religion. Not a lot of people are practicing. I wouldn't say practicing Muslims or practicing Christians. People will say, hey, I believe that, God is real, Jesus died for my sins and all that kind of stuff, but they wouldn't say like, I go to church or I really pray that much or I really, and that's still not me to say, oh, they're not Christian. And I know in your faith, like you would say, oh, you're not Muslim unless you're practicing it. I don't know if that's how that works, but like at the end of the day, most people believe in some higher power because living life and you want to kind of have hope in something, you know what I mean?
And it's about the journey, right? Because you're on a heck of a ride now. I mean, you've battled all across the country, but you've also battled abroad, right?
Yep.
What's some places that you kind of
I battled in Brisbane, Australia. That was crazy. That's a 16-hour flight, and I think it's like 12 hours ahead of us in like time zones.
Yeah.
So like I left like Tuesday morning and got there Thursday night, and then when I came back, I left on like Monday morning and got home at like Monday at noon.
Who you battle out there?
I battled a guy named LJ. He was like the champ of this Australian league. I battled in London. So I battled in London twice. I battled Sharon from Wildin' Out. I battled him on King of the Dot, and I battled a guy named Archaic. And in Manchester, England, I went out there to battle, but my opponent no-showed. So those are, I mean, outside of like Toronto, I battled in Toronto and some places in Canada. Those are the places outside of the U.S., you know, that I've battled. So I've been blessed to be able to travel and, you know, and see the world. So.
Thank you. And I know doing what you do, you gotta have thick skin.
Oh yeah.
Who was the battle rapper that you said, man, while he was rapping this stuff, you was just sitting there like, I just want to melt.
There's never been a melt opportunity, but there's been like I want to punch you opportunity. You know what I mean? And even in that, like I'm supposed to just kind of like be even cool, like, you know, hey, turn the other cheek. You know what I mean?
Right.
But there's been times, you know, like I battled Ilmac. You know, we had some beef and everything. He said some very disrespectful, personal stuff. You know, battle rap. Like a lot of times, disrespect, it doesn't really sting because you know it's not true. Type stuff, you know, like, oh, I'm gonna smash your chick, oh, I'm gonna kill your daddy, oh, I'm gonna, this, that, and third.
Yeah.
You're just kind of like, all right, bro, you're just trying to say this for reaction. You know, some battlers, like, they'll actually say the names of your family members, or they'll actually say, like, stuff that just happened. Maybe your grandma passed, and they'll call her out, you know, or something like that.
Straight up.
And when that kind of stuff happens, that's when you really have to practice that self-control and just be like, dang, you're a supreme cornball, you know, and I'm gonna chill on you, though.
And that's what I bring up, like, you know, Twitter. Is the space for battle rap. If y'all didn't know, if y'all into battle rap, you know, follow A Ward on Twitter. Also follow me on Twitter. It'll pop up right below here. You know, I can't help but see you and A Verb going nuts on Twitter.
Yeah, man. That's it's wild because it's kind of like I'll get on there and tweet, you know, and you know how Twitter is. You tweet, you know, you say what you want to say or whatever, and then it kind of goes down. It's not like, you know, a post on Facebook where people just go back to it, you know. It kind of like goes where it goes. But like, yeah, man, I mean, it's an entertainment industry, and Twitter is literally the platform to sell battles, to get people excited for things, to, you know, just, you know, and guys like Verb, guys like Surf, you know, at one point in time, just different guys, like, they'll open up these Twitter spaces and just talk crazy trash on you, you know what I mean?
So how do you feel? Because I think one thing for me, you know, me and you were talking before this about life changing and about how different both our lives are from that day at the Loop when I kind of looked you up and down like,
why are you here?
Oh, you're battling? You're battling, dog? Like, from being to that, to being even the evolution of who I am, and just, like you talk about having a family and all of these things, with people like Verb, when your idols become your rivals, how does that feel, man?
It kind of sucks, man, because part of you is like, oh, if they're talking crazy or whatever about me because we're about to battle, that's cool. You're selling a fight, you know? But when there's no, like, contract, no battle, no, you know, you have no intentions of trying to, like, make this battle happen and you just talking crazy, that's when it gets like, man, like you're kind of corny. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you're just a dude talking trash on me for absolutely no reason, you know, or somebody sent you to talk trash on me.
Or you just hating, right?
Or you just a hater, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's when it's like, dang, like I done shook your hand a handful of times, you know, I seen you at events, you know, we sat at a bar, you know, before, you know, RBE events or whatever, talk battle rap, oh, much respect, just battled in Nashville, you was there hosting, yo, you went crazy, Ward, and then you're on Twitter, and you're just kind of like, man. But then you just have to go back to like, yo, like some of these guys, like, they can't jump out of battle rap mode. Yeah. They're always a Verb. Yeah. They're always, he's not Chaz. I think it's Chaz is his real name, you know? He can't be that guy. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like, you know, like, I mean, like, dang, at the end of the day, bro, like these guys are kind of like, for lack of a better word, like shitting on my brand, my business, my, you know, what I do, what I work hard for. Yeah. For no reason, you know?
And I mean, that's kind of what hating is, right? Yeah. And I think for somebody, you know, if y'all don't know Ward, I know Ward. Ward pays the most homage, I think, to the community of rap. I think not only from an angle of that's who he is, but just being smart, right? Yeah. The where you operating, you want to do that. So with somebody like Surf, when you see Surf kind of get the fruits of his labor, right? As far as, you know, free Surf. But in reality, you know, that's one thing on my platform. I don't really sugarcoat. For somebody like you who lives through positivity and breathes through positivity, and then you see somebody like Surf who kind of is granddad, right? Of some bullshit, so to speak. And he continuously kind of feeds the youth a certain direction, and then you see him get what he gets.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel when you're like, man, I wanted to battle you,
Yeah.
but the battle that you got.
Man, tough, man, because I rock with Surf heavy. I know Surf, like, even in the last couple years, like, you know, the conversations that we've had at different events and stuff, like, I know he was drastically changing, you know, a lot of what he was doing in life for the better to be, you know, just an entrepreneur, somebody who helped put people on, an encourager, you know, and unfortunately the past can't catch up with you, you know. I'm not, like, very well educated on those types of lifestyles because I just don't, you know, I don't dabble in that type of stuff or whatever. But in what I do and in the material that I put out, like, I just don't want to ever make it seem like it's cool to do certain things that when life comes full circle can backfire on you.
Yeah.
You know, and so so, you know, obviously prayers up for Surf, man. Always keep him lifted. And you know, I don't wish that on absolutely anybody. But I do know that, like, battle rap is art and it's expression. And one thing about Surf is he spoke his life on the stage at all times. You know, yeah. He was not one of those guys, or a lot of battle rappers are, who are rapping about stuff that they would never do. You know what I mean? Like, he literally eats, sleep, and breathe like genuineness and authenticity. You know, and I can always appreciate that from somebody. Even though, because we expect our viewers to be able to know context, right? Yeah. They might not, because kids love battle rap, and I don't want to be the kind of person that leads somebody to a certain different type of life, you know. But we expect our viewers to understand that this is art expression. I'm not telling you to go do this, but unfortunately, a lot of battle rap is glorifying, uplifting, and making, like, bad decisions seem fun.
No, I mean, that's fact. One of the biggest things for me too is it's perception. Mm-hmm. Perception kind of ruins the art. I kind of went live on Facebook about this the other day. And, you know, the thing that I was talking about is I think you're a great example of perception really doesn't matter when you're highly skilled.
Yeah.
You know, how many, I'd imagine you've got won over all your haters by now. All your haters.
Not all of them yet, man. There's still some over there that believe I haven't done enough yet. But I mean, I'm working on it.
I mean, the battle I want to see, you know, New Jersey Twerk. Yeah. I got to see that. For me personally, man, I'm going to feel disappointed if I'm not just right here.
Yeah.
I need to be right here on stage for that battle. But I will say this about perception, man. You know, with hip-hop and the way hip-hop started, one thing I can appreciate and give you your flowers on, I think that a lot of people who have a different approach of hip-hop, they try to change hip-hop.
Okay.
And they don't realize that hip-hop kind of is based on the streets.
Yes.
Yeah. And in order to change hip-hop, you got to change the streets. Mm-hmm. So for you doing community outreach, I think is a very positive thing, but also I think it's the right direction, because when you deal with hip-hop and you deal with battle rap and you deal with this hyper-aggressive, I'm going to shoot you, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to expose you, you're a snitch, you're a this, you're a that. You know, one big thing that made me retire from battle rap is, you know, I felt like I used to have some off and on performances because if I really didn't like you, I really didn't like you.
Yeah.
You know, and that's really a big thing to encourage people to do something different and to do something different with their platform.
Yeah, man, it's tough. I've battled about 80 times now, and there's been, like, literally maybe a couple battles where I really didn't like somebody, you know? Yeah. And what's crazy is in battle rap, a lot of people tell me, like, those are the battles I turn up for. If I hate you, I'm turning up and I'm going to kill you. Me, on the flip side, if I don't like you, I don't like writing for you because my material comes from a place of anger or a place of, like, just not, like, peace, like, oh, this is my passion, you know, this is what I want to do, competitive nature. It comes from, like, anger, like, different things like that. So I don't like writing if I, like, really just dislike you, you know. So I don't accept a lot of battles like that. But yeah, you know, hip hop is, you don't want to change hip hop. You can't change hip hop entirely, you know. And I'm also, you know, obviously Caucasian. I'm a guest in the culture of hip hop, you know. But I do want to show the integrity of, like, yo, I still, you know, am trying to write rap. You know, entertain, MC, move the crowd. You know, I'm trying to do this on the highest levels possible, you know? Like, I'm not just here, like, showed up, you know, from, you know, Olathe, you know, and popped in and just was like, hey, rappers, you know.
Here I go, I'm ready to go.
You know what I mean? And no shout to anybody that wants to rap that's from the suburb. But I'm just saying, like, you know, like, I did, like, kind of eat, sleep, and breathe this growing up with my brother kind of putting me on at a very young age, you know? And so I've always just want to be kind of have integrity and be authentic to, you know, what hip hop is. So
no, facts. So let me ask you, who is the most famous person that ever hit you up? Like, man, I love this battle. Who is the one that you just like, man, this let me know that this kid from Knoxville, Tennessee, by way of Kansas City, really has lapped the globe?
Ooh, that's a good question. The most famous, wow.
So many now, y'all.
I mean,
it's so many, y'all.
There's a lot of people, you know.
Who is the one?
I mean, there's a lot of famous people just in battle rap, period. But, you know, Remy Ma, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
shout out to Remy.
Shout out to
Chrome
Remy.
23, right?
Yep. Shout out to Remy.
That might be a bag for Ward, y'all.
There you go.
It's coming soon. I seen some dope battles.
Yeah. Kale from Keenan and Kale.
Okay.
You know, that's
a crazy one.
Yeah. Jay Farrow hits me up a lot from Saturday Night Live, the comedian.
That's fire.
Emmanuel Acho, who does Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man, and then he does his sports analyst on Fox Sports 1. Nate Burleson. There's just a ton of different, like, tennis players and golfers and just like wild.
So you don't never have no women hit you up, no short. I'm married
Remy
man.
Remy Ma, you know, hit me up.
So
but
Remy Ma, yeah.
But like famous females, no, I wouldn't necessarily say a lot of famous females. Actually, and I might butcher this name, and I might regret this. The producer for Toby,
Yes, I know. I know who you're talking about.
Nell.
I'm not gonna do it either.
Yes,
I'm not
I'm
gonna
so
do
mad right now. But
evade the hoes.
Yeah,
hey, we both trying to evade the hoes. Hey, shout out to Toby because sometimes Toby got the vibe.
Yeah.
I understand. We try to evade the hoes.
His producer, hit was like, yo, like your lyricism and stuff is incredible.
Facts.
You know, and that was really dope or whatever.
Yeah. But when Ward got time, what does he do?
Yeah, I play pool. I play in a pool league every week. You know, shoot pool. Other than that, man, I'm just a sports.
Who you are, man? You are a gangster. So my boy Ward.
Yeah.
He write raps.
Yeah.
And then hang at pool halls.
Yeah.
And then get up and go to church and shark people. Poor.
Yeah. Then I basically watch sports, bro. If I'm not watching sports or just kind of kicking it with the homies or whatever, like I'm just writing. I need to get more into reading. Need to get back into the gym. I say back into the gym. You know when somebody say they got to get back into the gym, they like, man, I've been off for a year. I've been off for like 9 years. So I don't even know.
This version of you though, this version of you, can't nobody unwrap this version. Remember, as soon as you gain that 15, I hit Twitter like, ooh, this bigger Ward I'm seeing in this battles.
Yeah, skinny Ward was nice, but yo, that extra 15, 20.
This Ward got snacks and candy around him while he's writing. He's really in the bag. He's in the bag literally.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
No, it does that, man. You know, life will do that to you. It gets you older. I think success, right?
Yeah, success, man. Just like, older too, metabolism, different things like that. You know, you settle down, you got a house. You're not. I'm not. The pandemic as well. You know, I used to go to work. You know, and then like I worked in banking before I moved to the software side, and so I was at the bank. I was up. I was walking a lot. I was hooping a lot. You know, so this is a mixture of everything. Had rotator cuff surgery. Pandemic hit. You're sitting at home. You're not active. You know.
So pandemic. What about the weather?
The weather too, yeah.
Have you been seeing? So you've been traveling, battling over the last month. So you was in New York. You said this past week?
Last two nights.
Mm-hmm. So how's New York doing? Because I know they had the freeze over in Buffalo or whatever, and had all the people pass.
Yeah, they did. But they seem to be doing cool. I mean, New York City itself, man, it was beautiful the last 2 days. You know, it's just, I mean, the weather's fine. The people are just crazy.
No, I definitely understand. So, no video games for Mr. Ward.
Nah, man, I ain't played a game in years, man. Terrible.
So, you know, you from the Midwest, born and raised.
I was born in the South, but
born in the South.
Yeah.
Well, Tennessee kind of. That's the pipeline.
Yeah.
But I'll say this. So, you know, we talk about realism in battle rap. We talk about perception in battle rap. You know, being where we live, you know, we're in Kansas City now. We're a pro-gun state.
Right.
You pro-gun. Is A-Ward pro-gun? Is A-Ward pack a gat every blue moon? When you come to an event, do you exercise your Second Amendment rights?
We own guns, yeah. I don't show up to. I try not to have events that I feel like I have to show up with my weapon. You know what I mean? But you know, if I ever in a situation where I feel like I need that, you know, I wouldn't hesitate. But I would say that I'm pro, you know, handgun, pro, you know, I think that there should be some limitations on what people are able to access, the age of what people are able to access them, and different things like that. But I would definitely not say that I think that like firearms should be taken and outlawed, you know, period, from everybody. So yeah, we do own guns, and we use them, in a defense, and always use them in a protection and a defense.
Yes, always protect yourself.
Yeah, type situation. But yeah, it's definitely a conversation now. I mean, because you're seeing, when I was a kid, when I say kid, when I was growing up, Columbine happened, and it was just like the most ridiculous thing you ever heard in your life, And then the shooting in Aurora, Colorado happened at the movie theater, and it's like, wow. And then now you're seeing this stuff happen like 5, 6, 7 times a year, almost every other month. You know what I mean? And so it's such a big topic. It's such a thing that needs to be some kind of regulations around it to help things not gravitate there. But from a faith standpoint, like a lot of things is a heart issue. A lot of things is a parenting, a parenting thing. A lot of things is just, kind of making sure people are loved, cared for, stable, and taking pride in, like, building up people as humans, so that they don't get to those points too. So
straight up, but the vibrations. I think that's
that word I've been trying to figure out, because I see it everywhere. Vibrations now, like I think the last like 2 or 3 months is like a big,
Well, energy's huge. Yeah. I'm I kind of operate on the energy frequency, and I was telling you one big thing for me retiring from battle rap, is I got kids. I have 2 daughters, and I hate you. I hate your mama too. I hope your girl get her hair done and they can't take out the glue. Yeah. And here comes my daughter. Hey, hey, baby, what's up? Daddy loves you. Good job. Here, you want some water? Here, you want to walk over here? We'll go walk my dog, let my dog out, and then boop, and now I'm back to, I hope she can't take out the glue. Yeah. It just it doesn't work that way for me at all time. And I think, just like, to get off battle rap, when we talk about things like school shootings and we talk about safety, and I think sometimes people leverage their safety against faith. Mm-hmm. We put our faith in God. We put our faith in a higher power that protects us.
Right.
But I think, like they say, faith without works is dead. Yeah. And just as far as in today's world that we live in, how does a Christian protect themselves besides arming themselves with faith, right?
Yeah.
Is it so? I mean, you said you're pro 2A, but what would your message be to people out to? Okay, you can protect yourself with a gun. We know that. But on the spiritual side, what are some things that you do that keeps your faith strong, that keeps you from not kind of going down the L's of battle rap, like I said, with negative people?
No, I mean, I think I mentioned it earlier in the question. It's like, one of my pastors always says, like, everybody you surround yourself as either a faucet or a drain. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, when you encounter them, they're either probably taking energy from you or they're pouring energy into you. You know what I mean? And, like, who you keep around, like, your circle, the people that pour into you daily or whatever, like, having that type of energy, having that type of healthy, friendships, people that'll look at you and say, yo, Ward, you wilding right now. You know what I mean? Like, and people that'll look at you and say, yo, like, I'm proud of you, like, different things like that, like, that's really, like, a huge thing in life now. It's just, like, making sure you surround yourself with that. But you don't want to surround yourself with all like-minded people either and live in that echo chamber of yes men that just say, you're always doing well.
Pretty sure that's hard for you now.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes it is tough, but that's why I say I got the same core group from before battle rap, man. You go watch A-Ward Charlie Atlas, you see like 7, 8, 9 guys in there in that small room, and all of those guys, are still my guys to this day, and they was my guys 3, 4 years before I started battling too, And so everybody been there with me from the jump, And so I keep them around because they really do. They really pour into me. So I'm able to kind of navigate through life, and feel the security of knowing, like, hey, I know how to make, I know how to position myself in situations where I don't feel unsafe,
Straight up. So let me ask you, weird question. If you had to, if Elon Musk called you and said, hey, we got battle rappers on Mars, what other 3 battle rappers you gonna bring with you?
Rum Nitty's already there. He lives there.
He's already on Mars.
Rum Nitty is an alien, so I'm just going to visit Rum Nitty. I'm taking Loso. I'm taking Street Hymns and Saga, man. Like that's
you
my
gonna
guy.
take the straight.
I'm taking the horse.
Not even Twerk. Like you're not even gonna like Twerk. It's like Space Jam.
Look, Twerk chokes so much. I don't know what the air's like.
Oh my god!
I don't even know if he can't get a line out on Earth, man. Like so,
he can't get enough oxygen.
Yeah, he might be up there, like So you got to leave Twerks, Chess. You got to leave some of these guys that got the acid reflux back down here.
You don't bring Chess.
Where the good air's at.
Hey, but Chess. One thing about Chess is, Chess is one of them dudes to where he might choke out a whole battle, but then he say one thing.
Oh, they're both. That's Twerk and Chess.
And then you're like, dang, bro, if you could have gave me 3 rounds of this.
They're both two of the most incredible battle rappers of all time whenever they're on their game. You know what I mean?
I think Twerk is coming back because
he is.
But the reason why I think this whole like I watched him verse Luke Castro.
Luke Castro. Yeah.
I watched that.
Watched the YouTube drops.
Yeah, I watched the YouTube drops. Yeah, shout out to the app gang. I'm app gang too though, y'all. I am. We're gonna. Hey, that's next.
Yeah.
Hey, I watched that battle, and then we came in with the bullets the size of 2 liters. You could only fantasize.
Yeah.
I was like, that was like a pre-battle. I was like, Twerk is ready. He was very prepped for that, and I say that I want to see you against Twerk. I want to see you against Verb. Why don't we see you on URL? What's holding? Why isn't A Ward on URL? The top, you on the source top 10 battle rappers or top 50
Top 50
of all time.
The BT top 50 of all time.
Of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Why is one of the top 50 battle rappers of all time and thousands of battle rappers? Why isn't he on URL yet?
Man, that's a good question. It's because I have positioned myself to be such at such a level in battle rap that URL is not used to bringing over battlers that are at that level. You know what I mean? So normally they the first time you come to URL, you're still working. You know what I mean?
They want to groom you and build you.
They want to groom you and they want to build you. They want you to be their brand. They want you to, to be an extension of them, and they want to be able to have their thumb over who you battle, how much you get paid, and all of that kind of stuff,
Right, you basically battle. I mean, at this point, you make kind of what.
Yeah, I make what they make. Yeah.
You make what would suffice for your family. If you did nothing but battle rap, you could just live off battle rap.
Yes, exactly. I don't have to have my full-time job. I can live off battle rap. Now, mind you, they have a lot more opportunities for I would say the ceiling. I don't want to say I make what they make in the sense of like we're talking about Verb, Surf. Some of these guys that they can go in and get certain bags that would be more, But when we're talking about kind of like where I'm at,
And I've heard URL like they don't pay as much as individual leagues pay. They just pay them for 5 or 6 battles at once. So it looks like
they have all kinds of different types of contracts and different things like that.
I've heard
they kind of move how they move. But so what I was saying was like I'm kind of at a level now where it's foreign territory. They're not used to discussing things with somebody who's already here and doesn't necessarily need them.
Yeah.
And so with that, 2 parties have to put pride aside and compromise, And I felt like I've put pride aside and compromised and done things at time, and I felt like that they don't have that, interest in putting any kind of pride aside and compromising. And so with that being said, I'm like, well, then I'm cool, until you're ready to kind of meet in the middle and have those conversations and you can respect where I'm at and I respect who you are because I always have, then I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing,
So let me ask you, do you feel like that URL look is kind of what you need to finish cementing yourself in the Mount Rushmore of battle rap, right? To be in the conversation in that top 10.
Man.
To be in, because it's like the NBA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stephon Marbury.
Okay.
In China.
Who's that guy?
He's that guy in China.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 people who watch basketball now couldn't tell you they got statues of this man. He is Jordan in China. It worked out for him. He's kind of the A Ward of basketball. The NBA kind of didn't operate on a fair frequency that he felt. He went over there and became something that stood on its own. I'm gonna say it straight out, man. This is gonna be a pretty tough, hard saying, but I think I respect you and I commend you for that because I think as an African American male and as Black people in general, we don't stand by our art in that way with that much integrity to say, hey, I'm okay without you.
Yeah.
I'm cool. I might want to work with you. I'll be willing to negotiate with you as many times as it fails. But at the end of the day, I'm okay without you. But to just reiterate the question, do you feel like you need that look to be like, hey, I've done it?
Yes and no, man. Mount Rushmore it's subjective, bro. Like it's Mount Rushmore is always subjective. There's guys like Geechee Gotti right now that I feel like could possibly be put on Mount Rushmore, but then you'd have to take off a Arsenal, Verb, Lux, Mook, or whatever that are literally like those guys. You know what I mean? So Mount Rushmore is always going to kind of be subjective. I think my legacy, regardless, of touching URL is going to be that he was one of the best battle rappers ever,
Yeah.
And I think that you see that with The Source, Double XL, BET, even like Champion, which is, probably the most highly regarded, media outlet for battle rap that is like really paying attention to the culture, puts me in top 5. I've been in the top, 10 the last 4, or top 20 the last 5 years, and more than likely will be again this year. So, like, I think that I get the respect and my legacy and everything. The thing about it is that they're going to say, it's going to be one or two things. They're going to say, like, yo, Ward is the best battle rapper of all time to never touch URL, or it's going to be, A, Ward's one of the best battle rappers of all time,
Straight up.
And so you're going to find that regardless, with kind of what my work ethic is, and I'm still able to get booked, I mean, we've been talking about me being on URL since literally my second battle, and you would think that, 1 year he's going to realize, like, he's not going to get booked, and he's not going to be getting the matches he wants, and he's going to crawl back over here. And it's like, here we are in 2023, 8 years away from last battle, and here I am still, signing for biggest battles of my life, still headlining events, still battling big names. Just had the battle of the year with Rum Nitty, in King of Diamonds, on another big league.
Hold on. Using King of Diamonds?
KOD in Atlanta. That's where
from the ceiling to the floor?
To the ceiling. From the ceiling
to the floor.
Yeah,
Oh.
Yep.
That's hold on.
The battle was.
So, did you know it was going to be KOD, or did they kind of...
They flipped it on me 3 days before.
Okay, y'all about to say... Yeah. I would imagine that A Ward is...
I'd have been like, hey, bro, like,
can we,
all my pastors and friends that was coming to the event now, they got to turn their location off.
So what was it like a pole in the back?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So in the frame of this battle... So it was almost like Rum Nitty tried to take you to like a crazy away game.
It wasn't Nitty's fault, man. And I'm gonna say that the venue that they had dropped out, and they had to look for something. I'm not gonna put that on them, but I did have a conversation.
If you gonna choke anywhere, that's it.
I did have a conversation with them, like, yo, y'all really didn't take this into consideration, considering I'm part of the main event. But no strippers was there for the event, But right after the battle ended, they was like, let's get all the bad chicks to the stage, get naked, And I was like, all right, let me go do my interviews outside and get to the karaoke bar.
Heck no, man.
Yo, Copeland Keys here. You just watched episode 1 of Eating Elephants with A Ward. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit me up on Twitter. Subscribe on Patreon for more exclusive content. I'ma holler at y'all.